To the situation in the Middle East now. Human Rights Watch is warning and says it has evidence that Israel is using white phosphorus in Gaza, one of the most densely populated areas of the world. White phosphorus is highly flammable. It sets structures on fire and, in fact, burns human flesh. The organization says it's verified videos taken in Lebanon and Gaza on the 10th and 11th of October, just in the last week. In the videos, there is multiple airbursts of artillery-fired white phosphorus over the Gaza City port and 2 rural locations along the Israel-Lebanon border. Omar Shakir is the Israel and Palestine director at Human Rights Watch. Omar, good afternoon to you. Firstly, what does white phosphorus do?
White phosphorus is made up of is an incendiary type of weapon. So the primary thing it does is that it causes excruciating burns that can cause lifelong suffering with individuals. It can also burn down houses, structures, and other areas. It is indiscriminate in the sense that even if you fire in a certain area, it has effects that go for a number of meters beyond that. It can cause very serious injuries, and it's unlawful when it's used in a densely populated area like Gaza.
What evidence do you have that Israel is using it?
So we did an investigation, and we based our conclusion on several things. The first thing we did is we came across video footage that we were able to verify. We have a digital investigations lab at Human Rights Watch that uses a variety of tools. It's a multi-step process to authenticate the time, location, coordinates of particular footage that we came across. That was step one. Step two is that we ran that footage by our team of munitions experts who have worked in conflict areas around the world in order to be able to better understand what different weapons look like. And the imagery was consistent with these particular strikes. And again, we weren't able to verify all footage, but at least in several of the ones we looked at, that it was white phosphorus. Step three is that we spoke to people in Gaza, in the area in which the video was taken and the strike took place. Those individuals described what they smelt and what they saw, and every one of those factors was consistent with the use of white phosphorus. So that was the kind of core elements of our investigation. We spent some time doing that verification. I will note, after our reporting, Amnesty International also reached a similar conclusion about white phosphorus. They also were able later to identify certain types of weapons carried on Israeli warplanes, and were able to trace that those had white phosphorus as part of their load. I should be clear that white phosphorus can be used either as a weapon or to be used for obscuring and signaling, but in either case, there are effects to civilians, even when its intention is not to be used as a weapon.
Okay, so why would the Israeli military be using it in these areas now? From what you say, it would be illegal to use it in a densely populated area. Gaza, of course, incredibly densely populated. What would the military benefit be?
That's precisely our question. I mean, I'll add to what you said, the fact that we documented Israel's use in 2009. It led to some litigation in the Israeli court system, and ultimately the Supreme Court all but, barred the Israeli government from using it. And I will add that Israel has ready-made alternatives if their objective is obscuring or signaling that don't have the same effects on the civilian population. I don't have an answer for you, but I know it's coming in the context of statements by the Israeli government that it is taking all restrictions off the way it's conducting its hostilities in Gaza. And we see that not only in the use of white phosphorus, but the thousands of bombs that the Israeli army has dropped on Gaza, wiping out entire neighborhoods, city blocks, erasing entire families off the books. So this is coming in the context of a really severe attack on the population of Gaza, cutting of aid, electricity, water.
You made the point that this is possibly illegal under Israeli law, and findings in the Israeli Supreme Court, and of course the power of the Israeli Supreme Court is a matter of huge contestation in Israeli society. It was before the Hamas attacks 10 days ago. Is there any action then that could be taken against the Israeli commanders that gave the orders to use white phosphorus?
I think, the Israeli system, again, there was a bit of that proceeding that was, the government asked for some exemptions where it could be used. Part of that was was done in secret. I think the court pushed back on it. So there may be indeed options to do. The Israeli government has denied it used white phosphorus. So, obviously there's a chance they would fight that, if there was a submission in the Israeli system. Internationally, certainly there are. I mean, the International Criminal Court has a formal investigation into serious crimes committed in Palestine. Part of that mandate is to look at war crimes. War crimes include, indiscriminate attacks that, have effects on that target civilians or that have wider effects. So certainly this could be used, but this could be a part of that. But I should emphasize again that this is only one part of what we see as really serious war crimes and other grave abuses being committed, not only, of course, by the Israeli government, but also by Palestinian armed groups.
Omar Shakir, thank you, the Israel and Palestine Director at Human Rights Watch.